In just 37 seconds, one of Britain's most beloved talk shows descended into absolute chaos. What started as polite conversation between Graham Norton and Meghan Markle turned into a full-blown shouting match that ended with the Duchess being asked to leave the studio. Cameras captured every uncomfortable second as years of tension finally exploded on live television. The red sofa that usually holds laughing celebrities became a battlefield last night. Graham Norton, known for his quick wit and ability to handle any guest, found himself in a confrontation unlike anything viewers had seen before. Meghan Markle arrived at the studio with an attitude that immediately put everyone on edge. From the moment she walked through those doors, something felt different. The show started normally enough. Graham welcomed Meghan with his signature charm, and the audience applauded. She sat down on the famous red sofa, adjusting her dress and flashing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Graham began with a simple question about her recent projects, trying to warm things up the way he always does. "So, Meghan, lovely to have you here tonight. You've been quite busy lately, haven't you?" Graham said with his usual friendly tone. Meghan's smile tightened. "Well, Graham, I'm always busy. Some of us actually work for a living instead of just sitting on a sofa asking questions." The audience went silent. You could feel the temperature in the room drop. Graham's eyebrows shot up, but he kept his composure like the professional he is. He tried to laugh it off, thinking maybe she was joking. "Right. Well, we all work in different ways, don't we?" Graham said, still smiling but clearly caught off guard. "Do we, though?" Meghan shot back. "I mean, I'm out there trying to make a real difference in the world, and people like you just sit here making jokes about it." Graham's smile started to fade. The other guests on the sofa looked at each other nervously. This wasn't the fun, relaxed atmosphere the show is known for. Something was very wrong. "I think you'll find that talking to people and sharing stories is actually quite valuable," Graham said, his voice a bit firmer now. "That's rather what we do here." Meghan rolled her eyes. Actually rolled her eyes on live television. "Of course you'd say that. You're part of the British media machine that's been attacking me for years." "Now hang on a minute," Graham interrupted. "This is a chat show, not a news program. We're here to have a nice conversation." "Nice conversation?" Meghan's voice got louder. "You want to have a nice conversation? Let's talk about how your entire industry destroyed my mental health. Let's talk about that." Graham shifted in his seat. He's handled difficult guests before, but this was different. This was personal, and it was getting nasty fast. "Meghan, I understand you've had difficulties with certain tabloids, but I don't think it's fair to lump everyone together." "Oh, you don't think it's fair?" Meghan leaned forward aggressively. "You know what's not fair? Being torn apart every single day in the papers, being called names, having lies written about you constantly." "I completely sympathize with that," Graham said, trying to calm things down. "But I'm not a tabloid journalist. I'm a talk show host. There's a difference." "Is there, though?" Meghan wasn't backing down. "You all feed off the same stories. You all benefit from tearing people down." The audience was getting uncomfortable. People started shifting in their seats. This wasn't entertaining anymore. It was awkward and tense. Graham's team behind the cameras were panicking, wondering if they should cut to a commercial break. Graham took a deep breath. "Look, I think we've got off on the wrong foot here. Why don't we start over and talk about something positive? Your podcast, perhaps?" "I don't need you to manage me, Graham," Meghan snapped. "I'm perfectly capable of speaking for myself." "Clearly," Graham muttered under his breath, but the microphone picked it up. The audience gasped. Meghan's face went red. "What did you just say?" "Nothing," Graham said quickly. "Let's just move on." "No, I heard what you said. You think I can't control myself? You think I'm being difficult?" "I didn't say that," Graham replied, but his patience was wearing thin now. "You didn't have to say it. I can see it on your face. Everyone always thinks I'm the problem." "Well, maybe the problem is all of you." Graham sat up straighter. "Meghan, I've interviewed thousands of people on this sofa. Literally thousands. Some have had terrible experiences with the press, far worse than you can imagine. But they don't come here and attack me for it." "Oh, so now you're saying other people have had it worse than me? That's bloody rich." "I'm saying that there's a time and a place for these discussions. And attacking me on my own show isn't helpful to anyone." Meghan stood up suddenly. "You know what? This was a mistake. I shouldn't have come here." "Perhaps you're right." Graham said quietly. And that's when things really exploded. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Meghan shouted. The audience gasped again. This was not the polished, controlled image she usually presented. Graham stood up too. It means that if you're going to come on my show and be hostile from the very first question, then maybe you shouldn't have agreed to come in the first place. Hostile? I'm being hostile? You've been passive-aggressive since I sat down. I've been nothing but polite. Graham's voice was raised now too. You're the one who came in here with an attitude problem. Attitude problem? How dare you? You have no idea what I've been through. I'm sure I don't, but taking it out on me isn't going to solve anything, is it? Meghan grabbed her purse from beside the sofa. I'm not staying here to be insulted. Oh, that's perfect, Graham said, shaking his head. Just walk away. That's what you do, isn't it? When things get tough, you just leave. That comment hit a nerve. Everyone knew what he was referring to. Meghan spun around, her eyes blazing. You did not just say that. I think I did, Graham replied, crossing his arms. The other guests on the sofa looked absolutely terrified. They'd been silent this whole time, not knowing what to do or say. The audience was frozen, watching this car crash happen in real time. You're just like all the rest of them, Meghan said, her voice shaking with anger. Bitter, jealous, and stuck in your ways. You can't handle someone who actually speaks their mind. Speaking your mind is one thing. Graham shot back. Being rude to someone who's done nothing wrong to you is something else entirely. You think you've done nothing wrong? Your whole industry is toxic. You make money off gossip and rumors and destroying people's lives. I make money off making people laugh and having interesting conversations, Graham corrected her. If you can't see the difference, that's your problem, not mine. My problem? Everything is my problem according to people like you. I can't win no matter what I do. Graham's voice got calmer, which somehow made it worse. Have you ever considered that maybe, just maybe, the way you handle things contributes to the situation? Meghan's mouth fell open. I cannot believe you just said that to me. After everything that's been written about me, after all the racism and the lies, you're actually blaming me? I'm not talking about the tabloids. I'm talking about right now, right here, the way you're behaving in this moment. I'm behaving this way because I'm tired of being disrespected, and I'm tired of being attacked for no reason. Graham's composure was cracking now. You came on my show. You were rude from the start. And now you're playing the victim when I call you out on it. That's not on me. That's on you. Meghan took a step closer to him. How dare you speak to me like that? How dare I? How dare you? Graham matched her energy. This is my show. These are my guests in the audience, and you've made everyone uncomfortable with your behavior. Good. Maybe people should be uncomfortable. Maybe people need to wake up and see how the media treats certain people. This isn't about the media. This is about you being unnecessarily aggressive to me personally. A producer finally rushed onto the set, trying to calm things down. Guys, maybe we should take a quick break. Stay out of this! Meghan snapped at the producer, who backed away immediately. Graham shook his head in disbelief. You know what? I think you should leave. Excuse me? Meghan looked shocked. You heard me. I think you should leave the show. This clearly isn't working out. You're kicking me off your show? I'm asking you to leave, yes. You're not interested in having a conversation. You just want to fight. This is unbelievable. Meghan's voice reached a new level of volume. Do you know who I am? Yes, and frankly, I don't care, Graham replied coldly. On this sofa, everyone is equal. And right now, you're being disrespectful not just to me, but to everyone here. Meghan looked around at the audience, maybe expecting support, but found only shocked faces staring back at her. You're all the same, every single one of you. That's enough, Graham said firmly. Security, can we please escort Meghan out? You don't need to escort me anywhere, Meghan said, grabbing her things. I'm leaving on my own terms. Fine, leave then, Graham said. I will. And everyone will hear about this. I'm sure they will. You're very good at making sure everyone hears your side of things. That final comment made Meghan stop in her tracks. She turned back one more time, looking like she wanted to say something else, something cutting and final. But she seemed to realize that anything more would just make things worse. Instead, she just glared at Graham with pure hatred in her eyes. Go on then. Graham said quietly. "The door's that way." Meghan's heels clicked loudly on the studio floor as she stormed toward the exit. The sound echoed in the silent studio. Everyone watched as she reached the door, yanked it open so hard it banged against the wall, and disappeared into the corridor beyond. The door slammed shut behind her with a thunderous bang that seemed to shake the entire studio. Graham stood there for a moment, breathing heavily, looking at where Meghan had just been standing. The audience remained completely silent, not sure if they should clap or stay quiet, or what to do at all. Graham slowly turned to face the camera, running his hand through his hair. "Well," he said, his voice a bit shaky, "that was not how I expected tonight to go." A few nervous laughs rippled through the audience. Graham walked back to his chair and sat down heavily, like all the energy had drained out of him. The other guests on the sofa looked at him with wide eyes, still processing what they'd just witnessed. "I'm sorry you all had to see that," Graham said to the audience. "In 20 years of doing this show, I've never had to ask anyone to leave before." One of the other guests finally spoke up. "Graham, that wasn't your fault. You tried to be nice." "I did try," Graham agreed. "But sometimes people come with their own agenda, and there's nothing you can do about it." Behind the scenes, Meghan's team was scrambling. They'd watched the whole thing from the green room, horrified at how it had unfolded. They chased after her, trying to do damage control, but Meghan was having none of it. Staff members would later report hearing her shouting in the corridors, blaming everyone but herself for what had happened. Back in the studio, Graham was trying to salvage the rest of the show. "Right, well, shall we try to have some actual fun now? I promise the rest of the evening will be better than that." The audience finally clapped, more out of relief than anything else. They'd come for entertainment, and instead they'd witnessed what felt like a therapy session gone wrong. Graham managed to get through the rest of the show, but everyone could tell his heart wasn't in it anymore. That confrontation had rattled him. When the show finally ended and the cameras stopped rolling, Graham sat on the sofa alone for a few minutes. His producers came to check on him, asking if he was okay. He nodded, but he looked tired. Really tired. 20 years, he said again. 20 years and nothing like that has ever happened. "It wasn't your fault, Graham," one of the producers said. "Everyone saw how it went down. You were professional. She was out of line." Graham nodded slowly. "I know, but it still doesn't feel good, does it?" Audience members filed out of the studio, already pulling out their phones to text their friends and family about what they'd just seen. This was going to be all over social media within minutes. The clips would go viral. Everyone would have an opinion about what happened and who was right and who was wrong. But in that studio, in that moment, there was just silence and the lingering feeling of a confrontation that nobody had wanted or expected. Graham Norton, the man who'd made a career out of making people feel comfortable and getting them to open up, had finally met someone he couldn't reach. Someone who'd come looking for a fight and found one. The red sofa, usually a place of laughter and joy, had become a battleground, and as the studio lights dimmed and everyone packed up to go home, there was a sense that something had fundamentally changed. Not just for Graham Norton or his show, but for how people would think about what happened when two strong personalities clash, and neither one is willing to back down. The whole thing had lasted less than 20 minutes from start to finish, but it would be talked about for much longer than that.